Forget about blasting off into outer space for a minute. Today, we're going to take a journey to an even more incredible and complex universe, the one that exists inside a single cell. This is the blueprint for all life, and we're about to explore it, one layer at a time.
Okay, let's kick things off with a bit of a riddle. What on earth do you and an onion have in common? I know, it sounds like the start of a bad joke, right? But the answer is actually pretty amazing. You're both made of trillions of tiny, living building blocks called cells. They're the foundation of literally every living thing.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract idea from a textbook. What you're looking at right here, those are actual human cheek cells seen through a basic microscope. Those are your building blocks. That's how close we are to this invisible world.
In fact, you don't even need a fancy high-tech lab to see them. As our source material points out, with just a few super simple steps, you can take a sample from inside your own cheek and see the very cells that make you, you. It's pretty amazing, kind of like DIY biology. All right, so now that we've seen our own cells, let's dive a little deeper. The first big discovery on our journey is that not all cells are created equal. In the huge world of cells, there are really two main kingdoms we need to explore: animal cells and plant cells. Now, just look at these two side by side. You can spot the difference right away, can't you? See the plant cell on the left? It's much more rigid, kind of rectangular. That's because of its thick outer wall. The animal cell, on the other hand, is rounder, more flexible. And look inside. See that giant water-filled bubble in the plant cell? That's called a central vacuole, and we'll talk about what it does in just a sec.
So why are they so different? Well, this table breaks it down perfectly. Plant cells have that strong cell wall for support. Plants don't have skeletons, right? So they need something to hold them up. They have that huge vacuole to store water, which helps them stay firm. And, of course, they have chloroplasts. Those are the little green things that make food from sunlight. Animal cells, we don't need any of that. We have skeletons for support, and we get our energy from eating food, not soaking up the sun.
To really get this, let's take a quick tour of a cell, starting from the very outside and working our way in. First up are the protective layers, the cell's walls and gates.
So for a plant cell, that outermost layer is the cell wall. Think of it like a suit of armor. It's this tough, rigid structure that gives the plant its shape and protects it from the outside world.
But just inside that wall, and for all animal cells this is their outer layer, is the plasma membrane. Now this isn't a rigid wall. It's more like a super smart security gate. It's constantly deciding what's allowed to come in and what needs to get kicked out. It's basically the cell's bouncer.
And just look at how complex this gatekeeper is. It's not just a simple bag. It's this incredible structure made of fats, or phospholipids, those little things that look like tadpoles, and these larger proteins that are embedded inside. They all work together to keep the cell's internal environment perfectly balanced. Okay, so we've made it past security. We're inside the cell. We're now in the middle of this bustling, microscopic city, where we can find the cytoplasm and, most importantly, the control center.
This whole internal world is called the cytoplasm. It's this jelly-like liquid that fills up the cell. But it's not just empty goo. Oh no, this is the stage where all the action happens, where all the chemical reactions of life take place. All the cell's machinery is just floating around in here.
And suspended right in the middle of all that jelly is the nucleus. This is the big boss, the command center, the city hall of the cell. It holds all the genetic material, the DNA, which is the master blueprint for everything the cell is and everything it does. The nucleus reads the blueprints and sends out the orders for everything from growing to reproducing.
So how much information are we talking about here? Well, in almost every single one of your human cells, the DNA is packed into this many structures. 46. They're called chromosomes. Just think about that for a second. The entire instruction manual to build and run a human being is all packed inside the nucleus of one microscopic cell. It's like the library of life in a single room.
All right, so the boss in the control center is sending out orders. Let's go meet the workers on the factory floor. These are the little organelles that generate power, build materials, and package everything for transport. This is where the real work gets done.
Every factory needs a power source, right? For the cell, that's the mitochondrion. You've probably heard it called the powerhouse of the cell, and that is the perfect name for it. It takes the energy from the food we eat and converts it into a form the cell can actually use to do its job.
And here's what one looks like. This tiny rod-shaped thing is where a process called respiration happens. It's absolutely critical. Without mitochondria, our cells would run out of energy and life would just stop.
They're the spark plugs that keep the engine running.
So with all this energy, what's the cell actually building? Mostly, it's building proteins. Proteins do everything. They give the cell its structure, they carry out chemical reactions, you name it. And the tiny little factories that put these proteins together, piece by piece, are called ribosomes. They are the assembly lines of the cell.
Now, a lot of these little protein factories are stuck onto a bigger network of membranes called the endoplasmic reticulum, or just ER for short. The parts that are covered in ribosomes look bumpy under a microscope, so we call that the rough ER, and it helps move the new proteins around. Then you have the smooth ER, which, you guessed it, has no ribosomes. It has a different job, like making fats and other substances. It's a whole highway system inside the cell.
So after a protein gets built and travels along the ER highway, it gets sent to the Golgi complex. You should just think of this as the cell's post office or its shipping department. It takes in proteins, modifies them, packages them up, and then sends them off to wherever they need to go. It's the final stop before delivery.
So we've just met a handful of the cell's most important parts. But you know, the real magic isn't in any single one of them. The real magic is how they all work together in this perfect system. It's called division of labor, and it's a symphony of specialization.
This quote from our source material really just nails it. A cell is not just a random bag of stuff. It's a highly organized, super efficient society where every single part, every organelle, has a very specific job to do.
And this really shows you what that teamwork looks like. You've got the nucleus acting as the director, the mitochondria as the power plant, the ribosomes as the construction workers, the plasma membrane running security, and the Golgi complex handling the shipping. Each one is a specialist, and the cell can only survive because they all work together in perfect harmony. It's a tiny, self-sufficient city. So this tiny, invisible unit of life is an absolute masterpiece of biological engineering and teamwork. And the final thought I want to leave you with is this. If a single cell is this complex, this organized, this incredible, what does that say about the trillions of them that are all working together right now to make you? It's a universe within us, and we've really only just scratched the surface.